All right, greetings. So yeah, East Paladin asked me if I'm going to do any more Magic Realm, and I have not done Magic Realm in a long time. One of the reasons just being I have not really had a good, I don't just want to say, good idea for any of the games. So we're going to do just we're going to start up just a practice game, as it were. I mean, I'll count it for the overall scores for all the characters for sure, but it's not part of a series or anything. So we'll play a few of the games just to get back in the flow and see where we end up. This is a random foursome consisting of the magician, berserker, black knight, and elf. I wouldn't have picked these guys necessarily in any, I mean, I of them I do like the black knight and magician. Um, I score okay with the magician and the elf. The berserker and the black knight I do not score well with at all typically. And I always feel that's because they have, what I call pretty specific strategies in terms of, the black knight likes to kill natives, he likes to kill the guard. The berserker likes to um, hunt the bigger creatures, and sometimes that doesn't work out with the quest format that we're doing. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully have an interesting game here. And everybody starts down here, which is a little bit clunky because it's very gummed up at the beginning. So we'll see how that goes. But first things first, we have to set the game up, and we've set up. So we're going to see the magician. We're going to go. I would argue pretty straightforward. We're going transform. We took nudge to complement the transform. So the goal is to cast a nudge, have a nudge chit in play. That way he can alter one die roll by one pip and avoid any of the disastrous transforms. He can avoid at least some of the disastrous transforms at the very least. And then control bats. I think it's a good easy type 7 spell to take. He's going to have access to it most days, and that means when he runs into bats, he can then maybe utilize them to fly somewhere, something of that nature. So, Berserker and a Black Knight, of course, are just going to do their thing. The Elf is going for, as far as his spell strategy, he's going for Peace with Nature and Awaken Monster. Both of those do pretty much the opposite thing. Peace with Nature ensures that monsters do not come. As long as you have a gold, you can play it, and you will not summon monsters with red and yellow chits. But then Awaken Monster, during the combat phase, you can actually, knowing what space you're in, you can target one of the chits and effectively cause one box of monsters to come to your place. So what I'm going to try to do with him is anything where you have to kill something, hopefully he'll get some of those so that he can use his ability to effectively control what monsters are on the board. Done. Hell, he could even leave monsters behind and then flee. So we're going to draw a quest for everybody first. Everybody gets 3. So we're going to deal. Oops. And so we're going to grab this set and flip it. Oop, whoa, that's not what I intended. Unfortunately, I'm at that. I'm in the little hand area. So the magician has Explore the Caves, Spider Slayer, and White Source. White Source, I mean, it's useful in the sense he can use it to cast Nudge first day, so he's not going to waste his chit. So that's probably a good one for him. Explore the Caves. Where are the caves? Pretty much, they're right here. So they're not far. They're not far. You do have to go up a. Oop, I gotta phone here. Hold on. All right. You do have the secret path to go up, and that is a little dicey. Now you have the secret path to go up, pretty much to go to a lot of places. Pretty much aside from the ruin and the deep woods, and the mountain, of course, you are trying to find this path. So a lot of folks are trying to find that path. Oh, I get on YouTube and I start to yawn. Think about it. Yay! Um, the only problem with exploring the caves is simply the fact that you then end up in this awkward position of only moving either one and hiding or moving two and not hiding. And that can be pretty dicey for my guy, the magician. So now if you complete it, you're going to get a lantern. That's huge, giving you an extra phase in cave clearings. I think I'm going to ditch that one. So you can ditch at the beginning of the game. You can ditch any of these and you get to redraw, but you have to keep what you redraw. So he's going to discard that, draw one more, and then is locate the vault. So he has locate the vault, Spider Slayer, and White Source, and those are good. So those are his. Our buddy the Berzerker. Take cover is not a quest, it's just an event. He can immediately become hidden, so that's good. The locksmith appears in a random clearing at the high pass. So where is the high pass? Okay, the high pass is much, very far. It is quite the damn haul. So this map is effectively divided pretty much by the caves, strangely enough. So something to think about. Unless someone pops here, the elf, and effectively turns this oak woods, then you're divided by this secret path and this. So good to note. I think the locksmith and the high pass, we don't need the keys. So we're going to ditch that one for sure. There we go. Locate the cairn is fine. Take cover is good because it just allows you to move with impunity for a while. And then monster lure is great for him. So at the end of your day, drag one clearing of monsters from an adjacent hex into your hex and you kill them and you score. Done. So those are his quests. Now for those of you that are, I don't know that anybody new is going to watch this. Magic Realm is sort of a niche game. But Magic Realm was published in 1979 by Avalon Hill. It is considered, one of a classic epic fantasy game. It's also well noted for its, multi-100-page rule book, although the original rule book was not that big. But it is noted for its complexity and quote-unquote difficulty. It's not that difficult, but it does have a lot of rules. I play with variant spells that have been, many of them made up by folks in the community, some made by me. I also play with sort of a questing variant, which is where these cards come from. Purple Source is sort of useless by the Black Knight, so we're going to get rid of that one. Pub Crawl is dicey at best. Now, strangely enough, 3 of the 4, actually it's not that bad. 3 of the 4 garrisons. So Pub Crawl is you have to touch each one of these dwellings. The hard one is this one. This is this last one, the guard. Now Pub Crawl's, 2, that's great. 2 VP, so it's certainly worth something. But so we're gonna get rid of Purple Source, and I'm actually gonna ditch Pub Crawl. He's gonna keep Windfall. Windfall gives him $5 if he ends his day at a dwelling, which he certainly can. Deep Diver's a little dicey, but he has to keep it. and then locate the statue. So a lot of the locates are out the door, which is sort of interesting. And now finally, the elf. The elf also has pub crawl. Now the elf, quiet night is rest phases. That's super useful, and guide. I don't love that draw because there's not a lot of points in his hand. 2 of those are events. He could do a pub crawl for sure. Let's see. How do you get? Yeah, you would go and up and go and get it. Is that what we're gonna do? And he has guide, so he can immediately find that path that he needs to find. So also useful. We're going to say yes. He's going to keep pub crawl, and that's what he's going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just so people can see when they come here, I'm going to start typing their quests here and their little sheets. Locate vault. Oops, don't hit tab. Tab bad. Spider Slayer and white source. Done. So there you go. So there's the first. And you can see the magician popping up there. We'll go over here. You have take cover. You have locate the layer, cairn, sorry, and monster lure. I think his cards are probably the best for him. Just guessing. We go to the Black Knight. The Black Knight has Windfall. That's an easy one. That's just 5 free bucks. Deep Diver and locate statue. The problem with Deep Diver is the pool is one of the most dangerous locations in the game. Even if for the Black Knight, for sure. We got Pub Crawl, Guide, Quiet Night. And that's a search, free search. Or I should say paths. We'll just put paths there. Paths and passages, right? So, those are our quests. Do they change our strategies a little bit? I think the elf is going to book it out of there. He's going to just move. The Black Knight, obviously, because of Windfall, is going to stay put to get his 5 gold. I think the Berzerker and the Magician are pretty much about what they do, which is probably try to hire some of the rogues. They are friendly with the rogues, so seeing what's here and then hiring 1 or 2 of them is sometimes useful. And then they're just going to move out because they have to locate stuff. They need to find spiders, the cairn, and so on. The Berzerker just wants some monsters up. I mean, technically, he could actually do the ghosts, too, which, the ghosts are not his specialty as far as killing them. So, that's that. And now we have, so those are the individual quests. I also have 49 event cards. Those come up every week. So let's see, we have Strongman, a dwelling, an enchanter appears in a random clearing, and the monastery. So, the Strongman appears in a dwelling. So we roll a d6. 3 is the house. So the Strongman appears in the house. Strongman, done. I'm going to pull the enchanter out also. And I think I have a monastery chit. So there you go. So the Strongman is at the house, so we're going to put him there. And the house is here with the soldiers. And the Strongman is for hire. He can carry single tremendous item. I just screamed that in the mic. I apologize. 1! No. $6 to hire. He carries 1 item, but it can be a tremendous item. And he can also open the vault or the crypt of the night. So useful for some of the lighter characters. The Berzerker would not care because he is a tremendous character himself and can do all those things. The enchanter appears in a random clearing. When we say random clearing, it's one of the 10 interesting hexes, quote unquote. The Cliff 6. Cliff 6. So Cliff 6 right there. The enchanter costs $1 to hire. When he's hired, he will walk with you, and then for $5 he can enchant the tile. That's actually super useful because only one of the characters can enchant the tile, and as we've stated, this tile here is actually going to be key to unlocking the rest of the map, unless you want to trudge through the caves. Finally, the monastery is a random clearing in the mountains. 4. So mountains 4, right there. I think the first person that gets there, right? First here to reach this place gains 1 VP. Otherwise, you can trade for removing curses and learning spells potentially. And they can rest here, which is good. So there you go. That's it. Not a ton of excitement on the board. Now, the monastery is nice because it is right there at the base of the mountain. So you could score a quick victory point by running there effectively. That is going to disadvantage pretty much everyone but the elf, strangely enough, because the elf is the only one incented to run there. The magician and berserker might run there. That's a good question. That's a good question as to. I think that okay. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say the Black Knight is going to. So I mean we'll do our thing here. So magician first. I don't think the magician has a great deal of incentive to run for the monastery. I'm not feeling it. So I think what we're going to do for the magician is he's going to do pretty much what the plan is. He's going to hide because he does have to concern himself with. He does get a free alert phase every day. Typically, I'm going to write that at the end. Today we'll write at the beginning. He's going to hide once. He's going to trade once with the rogues to see what they have, and he will elicit 2 higher phases, and he is done. The Berzerker, I think the Berzerker, with his take cover, is going to move out. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And he doesn't have to hide, so he can end up in Deep Woods 5. That take cover is going to, so we're going to move 4 times. And in Magic Realm, you do have to indicate where you're going to end up. We're going to end up in Deep Woods 5. We will write, just because he gets an extra rest phase a day. Doesn't matter, but he does get one. The Black Knight. The Black Knight has, a ton of incentive to stay here. He's 5 gold if he just sits here. So he's going to hide once. He is going to trade with the rogues. He's going to, hide once. Trade with the rogues once, just to see what they have. He will also execute 2 higher phases. Keep in mind that the nice thing about the Black Knight is everyone is scared to death of this guy. And so when he rolls on the meeting table, and the meeting tables are any of these tables, which is also what you use to trade, are these meeting tables. So he effectively gets 1 die instead of 2, which means typically rolling 1 die is better in Magic Realm than 2. Because Magic Realm, you roll 2 dice for every roll, and you take the worst one. The highest one is always the worst one, typically. But you take the highest one. So in this case, you roll a 4. Rolling double 1s. The only way to get a 1 on any of these charts is to roll double 1s. That's 1 out of 36. A 2 is 3 out of 36. A 3 is 5 out of 36, and so on. So it's super difficult to get that roll. So rolling 1 die makes it a lot easier to get some of the better stuff. The elf gets a free hide phase every day, so we're going to use it. And then he's going to move all the way to Deep Woods 5 also. So those 2 will be sort of booking it. And that's it. That is our first day written and ready to go. And I think we have everybody's plan. The game is set up. And I think we're going to stop this video here. I'm actually doing, trying to see what the file size is going to be with the new setup, etc. And that's it. So I will talk to you in a few moments, and we'll start actually part one of this.